I want to start this video off by saying that I'm quite literally about to spoil the whole story for anybody who does not know the story who has not played this game yet. If you plan on playing this game or watching somebody else play through it, do that first, please, because I'm literally about to ruin your whole experience, and it is an experience that I do not think should ever be ruined. I had so much fun with this game, and the story was so insanely clever and great, but I was extremely confused when I finished that game, and I feel like I'm probably not the only one. So the idea in this video is simply to just try and help people understand what happened. I've just finished a playthrough of this on my channel, so if you're interested in seeing it rather than playing it, you can go there and do that. But I suggest you watch this video afterwards, because it really isn't a game that should be spoiled. With that out of the way, Bioshock Infinite works on the idea of a multiverse, and the way this works is that for every decision that is made, there are possible outcomes, and for every possible outcome, there is a new universe that is created. For example, if I flip a coin and I guess heads, then there is a universe in which I guess heads and the universe in which I guess tails. Now, let's say in one universe I win, and I win a whole country, and then I run the country into the ground because obviously I have no idea what I'm doing. In the other universe where I chose tails, I didn't win that, I didn't win the country, and I didn't ruin everybody's lives. That's kind of the basis. That's sort of how this works. So let's start from the beginning. Now, Booker fought at Wounded Knee. And after Wounded Knee, he felt pretty bad about himself because he'd probably killed a bunch of people, or I don't know what he did. He's a bit of a crazy guy. He then had the option to be baptized. Now, the Booker we play as declined this baptism, and he walked away. He went on to have a daughter whose name was Anna. He went and did a load of crazy things and ended up getting himself in a lot of debt. Now, in the universe in which he did not decline the baptism and he accepted it, he was reborn as Comstock. In the world where he was reborn as Comstock, he basically found religion, and he had help from the Lutece twins, and he built Columbia up in the sky, and he took the few people that you see standing around at the baptism with him, that's for sure. And he basically started his own nirvana, where everything was safe. However, as time went on, he learned that he was actually infertile and that he had no heir to his throne, essentially. The Lutece twins, using the power of tears, which you see all the way through this game, discovered that there was another universe in which the Booker, the one that we play as, declined the baptism and went on to have Anna. Now, obviously, Booker and Comstock are the same people, even though it's different universes, so Anna is still a blood relative of Comstock. So the Lutece twins go through to the other dimension with the Booker that we play in, and they say, "We'll wipe away your debt if you give us your daughter." And Booker, being Booker, says, "Yeah, go on then. You can have my daughter." This means that Comstock, in his universe, now has an heir to his throne, and he's perfectly happy, so he locks her away in a little angel tower, so she's safe from the false shepherd, who is our Booker, and basically renames her Elizabeth. Now, from the start, when we first arrive, we are given a box. There is a quote on the screen before this that explains why we're given the box, and that is that we cannot create memories from nowhere. We need to pick up on something. So we're given this box, and all we know is that this is our name, and we're doing a job, because that's apparently our job, and we're going on to rescue this girl from a tower. And we're not told anything else about this girl. We just know her name's Elizabeth, and here's a picture. These two people who are taking us there are actually the Lutece twins. And obviously we don't know this at the beginning because we don't know who they are. And by the time you do, you probably don't remember that you were taken on a boat to a lighthouse by these people. Because why would you remember that? I mean, it's not that important. Now, the Lutece twins went back to our dimension to find us because, as we see towards the end of the game, Elizabeth does actually become the prophet after Comstock, and she pretty much ruins the world. Now, this is sort of foreshadowed by the prophecy that Comstock keeps going on about how the seed of the man will sit the throne and basically everything will burn. And this is because Elizabeth probably doesn't know what she's doing. Now, the Lutece twins know that this will happen, and so they go back and find Booker, and they try and get him to go and rescue her so that it doesn't happen. Now, when Booker first gets to Columbia, we have a scene where we see him being asked heads or tails by the Lutece twins. You can see on the chalkboard that actually we've been there, I think somebody counted it as 117 times, and every time we have failed to actually retrieve Elizabeth, and I assume we died. Now, this is another universe, it's another iteration of this universe, and in this one, we've got another chance to do it. And that's what we do for the majority of the game. We go on our way to rescue Elizabeth. But that still leaves the question, what on earth happened at the end of this game? Now, what happened was, we learned that the siphon that is built into the tower is actually suppressing Elizabeth's power to interact with tears. And so once this is destroyed, now Elizabeth can go back through those through the lighthouses, and she can see all of the other tears. She can see into the world. She can create them. She can go wherever she wants in time, universe. It doesn't matter. She can now do that again. And that was being suppressed. And I assume that Comstock was suppressing that in her tower so that she couldn't escape, basically. It's understood that Booker now needs to kill Comstock at his birth, and at this point in the game, we aren't aware that Booker is Comstock. So the idea is they're going to go back to the crib and smother Comstock as he's born, and then this world will never happen and everyone will be safe. But obviously we know now that that's not quite the case. So what needs to happen is they need to go back to the point at which Comstock was born, which is the baptism. So Elizabeth takes us through into the place where we were baptized, and along this time it's basically explained to Booker what I've just said, and Booker now understands that he is both Booker and Comstock. And we see this when he's being surrounded by all of the Elizabeths from different worlds, and they basically tell him that. So now what happens is Elizabeth will drown Booker at the point in his life that he becomes Comstock. This gets rid of any world or universe where Booker becomes Comstock. In doing this, though, we do see that Elizabeth start to disappear, all of the ones that are ganged around him, and that is simply because without Comstock, there cannot be Elizabeth. However, it still leaves the worlds in which Booker didn't become Comstock and lived as Booker. And we get air of this at the very end of the game. If you watch past all the credits, there's that tiny little scene. And so in all of these worlds that are left, Booker still has Anna because he never gave her away, and he doesn't have the baptism, and he stays as Booker. Comstock doesn't exist, so Comstock doesn't come back to take Anna and become Elizabeth, so none of that stuff exists. And the idea there, I guess, is they can live happily ever after. And I think that's about it. That's the basis. There's 1,000 theories and there's so much other little things that we can go into, but that's the basis of the story. And I think that's what needed to be explained, for me at least. So if you want to see like a full explanation of this, it's not hard to find. I'm not going to try and do it because I'm not sure I understand it that well, but I understand it well enough to be able to explain to you what I've just explained to you. And I really do hope that did help shed some light on stuff that's going on. Obviously, after all of this, we have the Burial at Sea DLC, and I've only just started playing that. Again, that will go off on my channel if you're interested in seeing it. So I'm not really sure how that all ties in, but that's basically what happened. Booker is Comstock. Comstock goes back to steal Anna so that Anna can become the heir in Columbia. He then turns Anna into Elizabeth, who becomes a prophet and destroys Columbia. The Latest twins aren't happy about that. They go back to get Booker, and they bring him through so that he can take Elizabeth back. However, it turns out that he can't do that, and he's failed 100 times, and what he has to do really is kill Comstock. Because they're the same person, he has to go to the point in his life in which he became Comstock and die at that point. And he only dies in that universe, so all the other Bookers stay alive, Anna stays Anna, everybody's happy, he probably still has a big debt. That's about it. So, that's been my basic summary of what happened. I do hope that shed some light. If you did enjoy this video, please let me know, and please hit the little like button. It does help me out a lot. And if you're interested in seeing my playthrough, as I said, there's one on my channel. The DLC is coming up on my channel soon. I'm going to do both episodes. That probably will be here by the time this episode goes up. So feel free to click subscribe if you want to see those as they come out. And yeah, I'll see you next time.